Good evening and very warm welcome to all of you. So this is an information session for aspiring students who wish to join IISc EECS division for pursuing their M.Tech or Ph.D. studies. So the plan for today is the following. We will have a 5-minute presentation, 9 back-to-back presentations from various departments and also from the dean. We'll start with the presentation, and then after that we'll open the floor for question and answers. As far as the question and answers are concerned, please use the chat box to key in your questions. We will be monitoring the chat and then we will answer all your queries. So with that note, again, I welcome you all, and I'll now ask Professor Rajesh, Sundaresan, Dean of EECS, to start with the presentation.
Okay, welcome to the Aspiring IIScians Meet, AIM 2022. I am Rajesh Sundaresan. I'm the current Dean of the Division of Electrical, Electronics and Computer Sciences at IISc. We have organized this outreach program to tell you about the exciting opportunities at the various departments in the division of EECS at IISc. Yes, IISc started about 113 years ago. Through these years, because of its excellent faculty and its excellent students, and some of you will become such excellent students, IISc has built a great reputation as one of the best schools in India. In the National Institutional Ranking Framework, or NARF India Rankings 2021, we are #1 in the university category and #1 in the research category. If admitted, you will be coming to a top-ranked institution in India. IISc is an institution of eminence. This is a status which brings a significant amount of funding and enables us to become one of the best in the world. And we were one of the first institutions to earn this institution of eminence tag. The Division of Electrical, Electronics and Computer Sciences, or EECS, is like a large electrical engineering and computer science and engineering department, the two of these departments put together. You can learn more about our departments and division by searching for EECS IISc on the internet. We actually have 4 departments. You would see them on the previous slide. Please go back to the previous slide. The 4 departments are Computer Science and Automation, Electrical Communication Engineering, Electrical Engineering, and Electronics Systems Engineering. You will also hear about each of these departments from the chairs very soon. Please go to the next slide. The division has about 100 plus faculty, 350 plus PhD students, 400 plus master's students, and 10 plus 1 master M.Tech programs. And I'll speak about the +1. The +1 is actually an affiliated program from the Center for Cyber-Physical Systems. You'll hear a little more about it later. I'll now speak about our course and project-based degree programs. We have Electronic Systems Engineering, Electronics and Communication Engineering, Computer Science and Engineering, and Electrical Engineering as you go through those 4 quadrants. These are core programs running out of the individual departments. We also have joint programs which cut across departments. Signal processing is one of them. Microelectronics and VLSI is another. And artificial intelligence is one which runs across all the 4 departments of the division. In addition, we have robotics and autonomous systems from the closely related Center for Cyber-Physical Systems. You will also see some other M.Tech programs which are offered by other departments of IISc. They have some EECS content and may be of interest to some of you. One of the key specialities of our M.Tech program is that every one of the admitted students will do a substantial project involving 1 year of research when you'll actually work very closely with your supervisor. So you can count on it and you can look forward to it. So there's 1 year of research for all of you. So on this slide, we actually have our M.Tech posters. These posters are actually available on Twitter, EECS IISc. You can search and go there and you can see these posters. They have a wealth of information about the EECS M.Tech programs. And just search for EECS IISc on Twitter. Next slide, please. In addition to the 11 M.Tech program, we run 3 research programs in which the admitted student will submit a thesis for a degree. These are the M.Tech research, the PhD program, and the direct PhD program. The direct PhD program is interesting. It's for BTechs or MSc degree holders. If you aspire for a PhD and you want to cut down the time to get to your PhD. You can apply if you have written GATE. Also apply if you've not written GATE, but if you have a 4-year degree from a centrally funded technical institute. And these are several IITs, NITs, IISers, IIITs, and IIITs in public-private partnership mode. You must have a CGPA of 8 or more to apply. Next slide, please. I'll now speak about some cutting-edge research that we do. For some research, for research snippets, please go to this URL, eecs.iisc.ac.in, and you can learn about a lot more of the research that we do. Here you will see, for example, a recent breakthrough result in computational geometry from the Computer Science and Automation Department. The work on compressed sensing, this is done by a student and her advisors from ECE, which actually won a Best Paper Award at the foremost venue for information theory. This comes from the ECE department. You will also see in that picture a control of dual active bridge-based converters, and this is done by a stellar student and his advisor in WE department. And then a brain-inspired neuromorphic neural network, which has been learned to navigate through perhaps a maze. And this has come from the ESE department. In the middle and the bottom, you will actually see spreading codes that we have designed, which have made it to the NAVIC or NAV-IC L1 signal on ISRO satellites. And there are many more of these things. I encourage you to visit the webpage and learn about our research. Every admitted student at IISc, M.Tech and Ph.D. is given a scholarship at IISc. In addition, there is a possibility of winning an attractive fellowship like the PM Research Fellowship or the Cisco Research Fellowship or the CPS Research Fellowship, etc. These are the companies that actually offer such attractive fellowships. They can be from 1.5 times to 2 times the regular fellowship. They are competitive, and those that make it will get an enhanced stipend. Bangalore or Bengaluru is an exciting place to be. It was called the IT capital of India. It's now the startup hub. Next slide, please. And who knows, you might be in one of the deep tech startups that have come out of IISc, for example. Here are a few that our students and faculty members have started. I'll just run through a few of them here. Mimic is a startup which is for endoscopy training. SimYoke, for example, is for EMI-EMC characterization. Kinome for knowledge graphs. Polymage for newer generation domain-specific processes. And Raghavera Indic Technologies for Indian language technology solutions. And there are many more. EECS has deep connects with the industry and R&D labs. We are in the startup capital of India and also the tech hub of India. Here are a few logos of companies that work with us. They support us, they work with us, they also hire our graduates. On the research side, EECS is at the heart of several interdisciplinary initiatives: the brain, computation, and data science, networked intelligence, cybersecurity, biomedical informatics, sensors, materials informatics, quantum technologies, visual analytics. If you come here, you will get an opportunity to work on one or more of these. This is about our internationalization. We collaborate with researchers from across the globe. Here are some states in the United States of America with whom we have collaborations, some countries in Europe, some countries in Asia and Australia. And this is only a subset. Many of our students actually get a chance to present papers at conferences at these international venues. They also have a chance to visit these places and work with collaborators in these countries. Here's EECS's vision. Our vision is to strive to be amongst the world's foremost in electrical, electronics, and computer sciences by offering a world-class education to train future leaders like you in EECS and by creating breakthroughs that meet societal needs. Learn more about us at this website, eecs.iisc.ac.in. Here are some fantastic pictures about IISc. We live in a very beautiful and scenic campus, and here is our iconic building. Search for IISc admissions portal on the internet and apply today. The link is also given here. Next slide, please. On this picture, on the right, on the top, you will see something which says discovery, which signifies discovery, and another that signifies invention. The discovery picture is actually a two-dimensional layer of carbon cut in one way, which leads to a significant increase in conductivity, which may revolutionize interconnects on chips. The other, on the bottom right, is actually a micro-engineered platform for antibiotic susceptibility testing, which actually takes the laboratory to the patient. In our quest for excellence at IISc, we make the two, discovery and invention and innovation, coexist. I wish you a very informative session. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajesh. Next, now I invite Professor Chiranjib Bhattacharyya from CSA department.
I thought I'll just flash this news item. See, this is for anyone to see. Can you read this thing? EdTech firm Scalar acquires online learning platform Applied Roots for $50 million.
Yes.
Yeah. So Applied Roots was started by one of our students who completed his master's 10 years ago. So that is so with that, I would like, to invite the future engineers to apply to come to our department and maybe become millionaires. So his name is Verma. So is jokingly calling him that now you're a millionaire. Anyway, so this is all I wanted to share through the screen, but now let's get back to the slides. So welcome to AIM 2022. So of course, AIM stands for Aspiring IIScians, but our aim is to get as many of you here to enroll in our programs. So this is a snapshot of our building. Yeah. So you see, as Rajesh, our dean, said that we are part of the EECS division, and IISc has 6 divisions. So EECS is one of the most important divisions here. So we are part of it. Yeah. So see, our department has a very rich and long history. So it was started in 1969 in the era of Cold War. And so you can imagine our department initially had a lot of impact in the defense and the space programs, so as other departments as well. So Professor Dikshitalu was the founder chair. It was initially called School of Automation, and it formally was became a department in 1971 under Professor I.G. Sharma. He had made seminal contributions to computer science education and research in the country. And in his honor, we often hold the I.G. Sharma Memorial Annual Lecture, where we had the great fortune of holding some of the eminent personalities. For example, Silvio Micali, who was a Turing Award winner, Christos Papadimitrou, whose books some of you may have read, was here giving some of his lectures, etc. So recently, we just concluded our Golden Jubilee. So having said that, 50 years of excellent research has been conducted here. So our research is broadly focused in 3 different clusters, if you may say so. So it is. So one is intelligence systems, another is computer systems and software, and one is theoretical computer science. So today people are excited about AI, but the first course in AI was conceived in the CS and the EE departments of IISc. But of late, AI has accelerated cross collaborations amongst these disciplines. So I've listed some of them on the right. So this you will find in any good CS department across the country. But probably what is unique to our department is you will see there are papers written where computer systems programming is impacted by AI, and so databases is and AI scientists are talking, and so on and so forth. So our primary positioning is we are a predominantly research institution, and one of the things which our dean mentioned is that we score high in terms of ranking is because we produce excellent research papers, which shows fundamental advances in many of the fields. So in our department, if we count, we see 100 plus papers coming out in top tier fora. So some of the papers have made huge impacts in this area. For example, so those of you know, clustering is one very interesting foundational problem in machine learning. So the subject paper on data clustering, authored by one of our colleagues, Professor Murthy, has garnered something like 15,000 citations, which is a huge thing for us. So one of our colleagues, Professor Uday Reddy's paper on a paper in PLDI, the leading conference, has won the most influential 10-year influential paper award. So numerous best paper awards, are there won by our faculty. So here, so the point is not about the number of papers we write, but the places where we publish. So these are all acronyms, 4-letter acronyms, as we say. These are some of the leading conferences and journals in these various streams, and we can proudly say that from India, these are the first places where our researchers from CSA department published this place. So they made India visible in some of these places. Since then, of course, other institutions have also caught up. So but we take pride in doing foundational research, which is published in the best of venues. So as was mentioned, there are many programs here is and the PhD programs. So here are our programs offered from the CSA department. So one is the traditional M.Tech coursework program. And then there is M.Tech research. The difference is that in M.Tech coursework, you do more courses, whereas M.Tech research, you do less courses, but do a comprehensive thesis. We also share an M.Tech AI program across the division. And last year, we started this M.Tech AI online. But of course, our flagship program remains, apart from the M.Tech, is this PhD training. Yeah, so I kept saying that, we had so many good papers and, these are impactful and all that, but this wouldn't have happened without students. So, so our students are actually are the key people who make such things happen. And they have also won many accolades, best paper awards or best poster awards, but they also win various scholarships, Google PhD fellowships, Google Women in Engineering awardees, and so on and so forth. They regularly win, other prizes. Like, for example, last year, one of the PhD students won the ACM India Best Doctoral Dissertation Prize. So these numbers needs to be a little updated, but here is a rough split. So we are roughly 214 strong student community. And this is the split between various programs. So we would like all of you to join here and make this team even stronger. Can I have the next slide, please? So as was mentioned by our dean, that EECS has many collaborations, IISc has many collaborations across the world. CS department also has many collaborations across the world. These are some of the leading universities, as you can see. We have connections to with many of them. Can I have the next slide, please? So one may say that, get the impression that, oh, you do research, you publish papers, but you probably don't have any good industrial impact. That's not true. We actively collaborate with many companies, and these are only some of them. So CSA department, we like to position ourselves as a place where we do cutting edge research, and the research is bolstered by broad-based coursework. And as you can see, the news which I shared with you at the beginning is just an indicator that we believe our wholesome education that is provided in the department here prepares you both for a research lab and also a very lucrative industrial life as well. However, the number of startups are less, but in the coming days, I'm sure with enthusiastic students like you joining here, we will have many more such startups, and CSA department do whatever it can to further nurture the CSA deep tech ecosystem. Thank you.
Thank you, Chiranjib. Next, we move on to Department of ECE. I invite Professor Umanand.
So before I start the slides, there is a 50-second video that has been prepared, which will give an insight into what is happening within the department and what the students are making. It's not exhaustive, but at least it will give an idea. will start here. So the video is just basically to give you a brief glimpse of what sort of activities go on. The research at the department is classified into two broad areas, microelectronics and the macroelectronics. So if you come to the macroelectronics, we have these four broad topics: zero energy networks, and this is where the IoT and embedded systems comes in a big way. You have communication networks, mechatronics. Mechatronics is the bridging area for the mechanical and the electronic systems, the electromechanical systems, and then the power and clean energy topics. So under the microelectronics area, you have faculty working in the area of nanoscale devices, digital VLSI, analog VLSI, and neuromorphic computing, where brain-related research is going on. Now, bridging these two, you have three important topics, which is quantum processing and memories, microsystems, healthcare, and embedded systems. So this big picture of, yes, that is a system. You have these two varieties of SoC, which is the system of chip for the macroelectronics systems and the systems on chip for the microelectronics based systems. So these are the broad topic areas where the faculty are doing research. And we have three master's programs, which kind of couple to the work that is going on in these areas. The first one I will bring in is the M.Tech in Electronic Systems Engineering. This is actually focusing on the macroelectronics part of the topic. So the M.Tech here trains the student in all these areas, in the macroelectronic areas, and make them do design and development of electronic systems. So typical sample projects from previous years would look like this: neuromorphic hardware for vision, for even the auditory systems, handheld device for heart tissue disease characterizations, multi-core 64-bit superscalar RISC-V processor design are some of the topics that one can expect to do in this electronic systems design program. So we have another program, M.Tech in microelectronics and VLSI design, and this is along with ECE, Communication Engineering Department. And here the focus, of course, is on the microelectronics part, and the typical type of projects that you can expect here, something like this. You have photonic integration circuits for quantum applications, analog optical computing using nanofabricated structures, phased array antenna design for 60 gigahertz applications, so on and so forth. There are several topics. This will give you an idea of what to expect. Then you have the third M.Tech program in the department, newly started only last year. This is in electronic product design. This is again attacking the macroelectronics, and this was actually initiated because of the push from the Ministry of the MIT, Ministry of Information Technology, towards indigenization, it is part of the Atmanirbhar program, and how to start up, support for business incubation. These are facilities, extra facilities that are provided in the M.Tech in electronic product design, and the students are trained to become entrepreneurs. And if someone wants to become an entrepreneur, there is also departmental support for business incubation even beyond the M.Tech program. Some of the sample project topics you will see here is, here are the sample project titles. Something like this: differential drive mobile robot for material handling. You also have one can do robots for harsh conditions, wire crawler. Crawler is an interesting application where it crawls on the transmission lines to repair the faults on the transmission lines, repair and monitor. You have additive manufacturing, real-time controller for metal 3D printing. So many such projects like this will happen in this particular M.Tech program. So all these M.Tech programs are intensely oriented towards hands-on implementation, and you will benefit a lot from these programs to complete your electronic education. And I hope you get a feel of what you got a feel of what goes on in this department, and I hope you will also get more information from the other departments chair also. Thank you. That's all from me now.
Thank you, Umanand. Now we move on to ECE department, and Professor Vinoy will introduce you about ECE.
Okay, so I'll present about the ECE department. We have, as all other departments, we have PhD programs, and we also have a M.Tech research program in addition to several master's programs that we are part of. We have a program on electrical ECE, Electronics and Communication Engineering, which we launched and renamed recently in 2021 admission cycle. And with W department, we have a signal processing program. With DESE, as Professor Umanand just mentioned, we run a program called Microelectronics and VLSI Design. And in the entire division, we have AI program, and in addition to the online program that we run. So we, as the department is currently celebrating its 75 years. So when you come here, you are essentially, going to be part of, a 75-year-old alumni when it is. So we have the vision for the department is to excel in theoretical and experimental research in many areas: communication, signal processing, microelectronics, and RF and photonics areas. And the cutting edge research in these areas could be broadly classified into some of the topics that I have listed. And when you go to the nitty-gritties, there are several different, high impact areas that are flying around where, my colleagues are doing research on. Yeah, if you look at the distribution of the faculty, we have around 26 faculty, regular faculty, and several, adjunct, associate, or, visiting faculty. And if you look at their credentials, about 1/4 of them are fellows of IEEE, 1/3 of them are fellows of Indian National Academy of Engineering, and the like. So, and you won't find such a distribution or concentration of, highly recognized faculty anywhere else in India, I can say. And they're also, recognized by various prizes and awards. And all these come from the publications and other research outputs that the department faculty contribute to, and which could be measured in terms of the number of citations that they have, currently the faculty members have, their papers have. And if you look at the, one of the metrics is the H index, or we can say I-10, I-100, different ways in which you can measure these indices, and, the numbers are quite high for the faculty members. In addition to publishing the research, they also, contribute to other activities in bringing out world-class professional journals by working behind the scenes, let us say, in terms of as editors and even editor-in-chief in some of these professional journals that are listed here. We do connect on a regular basis with industry. All names that you see here must be familiar to you. In terms of, we have alumni in the leadership positions there, and many of them are in our industrial advisory board, and giving us feedback on what to do next in terms of modifying our curriculum and other programs. They also fund us. Some of them fund us for research. They support us in terms of student fellowships and the like, and of course lead to many student internships and placements in some of these companies that are listed here. In addition to all of these, when we look at our industry outlook, there are several faculty or alumni promoted industry startups. At this stage, I can see that at least 4 of my colleagues in the department are directly involved in startups, that are just happening around us at this stage. Yeah. So the students around we have around 250 students on regular programs, and these are almost half of them are in the research programs, and the other half is in the various master's programs that I mentioned before. And these students are highly recognized in terms of their the fellowships that they bring in, which are external to the regular stipend. We have several scholars, several of them getting into this PMRF scheme that was mentioned in the last year itself. There were 5 in one slot, and then another 3 students got in the second slot. In terms of fellowships by private recognitions, let us say, we have in the last year we had 3 of our students projects getting into the Qualcomm Innovation Fellowships. As Professor Rajesh mentioned earlier, there was a paper from the department which gotten into the Best Paper Awards in one of the premium conferences in the information technology in the last year. And I should also mention that there are several such awards coming on the way in terms of the various fellowships that are there for students. So going forward, Sandeep, next slide. The primary M.Tech program that the department offers is now called Electronics and Communication Engineering, which has, just like many other programs in IISc, require a 36 credit coursework and 28 credit project work. And this coursework, we believe, will give you a strong foundations, at the same time, sufficient flexibility to get into various aspects of ECE as you prefer over a period of time. And therefore the courses are divided into core, as well as there is something called stream pool that we have offered this time. And with that, you will be able to shape your own future and trying to align with the expectations of industry or your own. Let's say if you want to start a industry or you want to go for PhD or various other things. So, and we do encourage students to take up internships, and as part of the improvement in the course curriculum that we have now started an exclusive lab course with which the students will get exposed to the hands-on aspects of ECE as they get trained in the theoretical aspects that we have been focusing for a very long time. So the ECE, now you can get connected with us through our website or any of the social media channels. You have the details over here, and please do connect with us, and please do write to us if you have any queries, or maybe we can even answer some of them later in this program. I wish you the best, and I look forward to some of you joining us for the master's programs that ECE offers or the EECS offers. And again, wish you the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinoy. Now we move on to Electrical Engineering Department, and we have Professor Chandrasekhar SEELAMANTULA with us to talk about his department.
Yeah, Department Chair Professor Kumar could not make it to this meeting due to another appointment, and I'm actually substituting for him. Happy to talk about the activities at the Department of Electrical Engineering. Our department is more than 100 years old, and we are committed to excellence in teaching and research and technical contribution to the nation. These are the primary research areas. We're focused on speech signal processing, medical imaging, image processing, computer vision, machine learning, control, high voltage engineering, power systems, power electronics. We have several major research programs under DESE, Ministry of Power, MHRD, And these are several sub areas under these broad areas that research and teaching happens at the Department of Electrical. We have funded projects from several institutions, several government institutions, as well as private organizations. These are academic programs that would be of great interest to you. We have a core program in electrical engineering. We're part of the M.Tech AI program that is jointly organized by the 4 departments in the Electrical Sciences Division and the Robert Bosch Center for Cyber-Physical Systems. The M.Tech Signal Processing program is jointly offered with the ECE department, and this program has been revamped. And you will actually be the first beneficiaries of this revamped program, which has a significant machine learning component in it. Our students actually find jobs in several leading companies, both in the corporate as well as public sector companies. Next, as well as faculty positions in India and abroad. Here are some glimpses of research from our department. We have a strong group in computer vision, and this is one of those landmark results from the computer vision team here, where they have actually used geometry-based models to reconstruct for 3D reconstruction of large-scale objects. For instance, the Vitala temple or the Mahatma Gandhi statue or the Buddha statue. These are life-size figures, and these have been obtained based purely on geometry-based models. Next. There's an example of collaboration that we are carrying out with ISRO, the Indian Space Research Organization. On the left, you will see how image processing algorithms offer state-of-the-art performance on improving the quality of satellite images. And on the right, you see some activity that we have carried out in collaboration with the Civil Engineering Department or using ground-penetrating radars for detecting landmines and developing low-cost ground-penetrating radar solutions. Next. This is work related to optical imaging. We have a strong presence in development of computational algorithms, efficient algorithms for reconstructing images and solving inverse problems in imaging. What you see here is an instance of improving the image reconstruction quality in optical telescopy. And on the right, you see image reconstruction using state-of-the-art optimization schemes. We also have a lab here that is dedicated to developing computationally efficient algorithms for solving several inverse problems related to image processing and computer vision. Here you see an example of one of those algorithms. On the left bottom, you see the standard algorithm, which is a bilateral filter, which takes about 42 seconds, and the research carried out here can reduce it by a factor of about 35. And this is actually part of one of our student projects. Okay. On the right, you see algorithms for doing registration from multiple views. These are some works that are related to image and video quality assessment. This is actually from Rajesh Sundaresan from the ECE department, where he's interested in quantifying the quality of images and videos, and also rating the user experience in virtual reality applications. Document processing and assistive technologies. One of our faculty members is involved in, has spent his full career on developing techniques or technologies for online handwriting recognition system for Indian languages, as well as developing OCR systems for the blind. He also has a startup company related to this technology. Next. We have a significant activity in speech processing and multimodal speech analysis. For instance, this is an example of a speech signal that is analyzed and cross-correlated using MRI measurements. It's a real-time magnetic resonance imaging. That's a video that you have, and you also have the temporal waveform, which is the speech signal. We're trying to analyze getting temporal acoustic correlates of the signal from the MR video. So we're trying to map the positions of the articulators corresponding to different phonemes that are produced as a function of time. Next. Yeah, so this is some work that is dedicated to developing solutions and hardware image denoising in hardware happening in real time. And this is for ISRO applications. On the next. As well as monitoring rail wheel conditions using fiber propagating sensors. This was actually deployed in one of those express trains passing via Yelahanka station. Next. Next. So we also have some work going on using millimeter wave radars for condition monitoring of systems, as well as more recently in the context of COVID, if you would like to analyze somebody's heartbeat without actually getting close to the person, millimeter wave radar systems offer that flexibility and advantage over the conventional monitoring systems. On the right, you see some work related to Indian Sign Language, where we have been able to develop systems that are capable of decoding Indian Sign Language. Next. There is some work coming from the power side. We have developed technologies for a medium voltage photovoltaic power conversion system, and this is one of the deployments on the terraces of a building. Next. We also have a strong hardware group here that develops active phase converters for operating three-phase machines on single-phase microgrids. And this is part of the department's FIST project, funded by the Department of Science and Technology, where several faculty members have come together to develop state-of-the-art technologies in power systems and smart grid. Next. These are battery converter systems that are developed at the department, power systems labs and power electronics labs. We have high performance cell equalizers and battery impedance measurement using auxiliary converters. Next. So these are some power electronic systems that are developed exclusively for satellite applications, and this is part of the ISRO IISc Space Technology Cell project. Next. Ultracapacitor energy storage systems built completely in-house with a very small form factor, providing adaptive control. Next. And these are some systems that have been developed here based on silicon carbide converters and matrix converters based on IGBT. Next. And we have world-class facilities here for smart energy systems infrastructure. Those of you who are interested in reconfigurable power grid systems, if you're looking for an experimental test bed, you have a test bed here. That is something that we have set up recently. Is a really state-of-the-art system. And we also have a large power grid real-time simulator. All of these have been enabled by the DST FIST project that the department has been working on. Next. So these are 6 reconfigurable generalized substations and topology connection panels. These are sort of mimicking the PGCIL field practices in the labs. And once you join the department and if you're part of the M.Tech electrical engineering program, you'll actually have the opportunity to work with these systems. Next. We also have microgrid laboratory setups. And you will actually be doing research and experiments or projects on your master's projects on these lab facilities. Next. This is on the high voltage side. We have world-class facilities to understand and analyze the influence of lightning, the effects of lightning on aircraft models. This is a project funded by ADA. Our chairman is actively part of this project. Next. And we also have works going on related to aging studies of polymeric insulators as per international standards. Next. So with that, I conclude, and I'd be happy to take any questions related to any of the programs that the department is offering. Also the programs that we are offering in collaboration with the other departments at EECS. Thank you.
Thank you, Chandra. So far you have heard all the faculty describing you about various programs at EECS. Now we have 4 students from various departments within EECS telling you about how their daily life at IISc looks like and all the fun things that they do here and why did they join IISc. So we'll have 4 short presentations, and then after that we will open the floor for questions. So Nikita, are you around?
I'm Nikita Yadav and I'm a PhD student at CSA. Please feel free to contact me at my IISc email ID for any offline discussions. And next slide, please. My journey at IISc began in August 2018 when I joined as an M.Tech coursework student at CSA. And I was fascinated by the lush green and serene IISc campus, accompanied by the beautiful and pleasant Bengaluru weather. For the first few weeks, I actually felt that I was on a vacation at a very beautiful place. And the IISc campus has a plenty of space for various activities like cycling, jogging, and there are amazing restaurants in and around the campus. I also enjoyed the mess food. The mess food is very good, nutritious, and serves both North Indian and South Indian cuisines. Next slide, please. The M.Tech coursework program was very fruitful experience for me. I got the opportunity to attend lectures from one of the best faculties and got the guidance from the best researchers in the world. I got the opportunity to study advanced research courses, and opportunity to work on research on challenging research problems. CSA conducts various interactive events throughout the year, including summer school and open day. And summer school happens every year in the month of June and July, where we invite everybody to come and join us for various exciting events such as talks, hackathons, workshops, etc. And open day is an IISc event where IIScians from all the departments come together and present live demos, experiments, and the cutting edge research and technology. I got the opportunity to participate in both the events and learned. I had a wonderful experience. All of our faculty members encourage us to ask questions during and after the class hours and are always open for discussion. We have a great computing infrastructure in our lab, which is open 24/7 for the students. And we also get to hear from eminent speakers from all over the world. Next slide, please. CSA and all the other programs have an excellent placement record. We attract the best industries and get great offers. For consecutive years, we have had more than 24 LPA average CTC. And during my master's, I also got the opportunity to work as a research intern in IBM India Research Lab, Bengaluru. And during my PhD, I was awarded the PMRF fellowship. Next slide, please. I work in the area of computer system security, and my areas of interest lies in IoT and blockchain security. Currently, one of my projects is focused on building a reliable, trustworthy, privacy-preserving system for surveillance, which is built on surveillance cameras backed by the distributed ledger technology. Next slide, please. Life at IISc is full of fun. I enjoy several activities here in campus, including jogging, cycling, going for aerobics, photography, going for outings, nearby places, dinners, etc. And even I did my first trekking only after coming to IISc. Next slide, please. Thank you so much for listening to me, and all the best for your applications.
Okay, that was Nikita. Now we have another PhD student from DESE, Arnab.
Okay, hi everyone. I am Arnab, a senior PhD candidate at the Department of Electronic Systems Engineering here. So here at DESE, I work at the Nanoscale Device Research Laboratory. Next slide, please. Okay, so let me first try to convey the reason I joined, the motivation behind joining DESE IISc. So I did have multiple offers, but ultimately chose DESE IISc, mostly because of two reasons. So I joined in 2016, and in 2015, IISc established this Cray XC40 system. This is just an example. So every department of IISc has huge computational resources. I would say world-class computational resources. So this KXC40 system was basically had a peak performance of 1 petaflop, and it was the fastest supercomputer in India then. It has been decommissioned last month, but we have again established the Param Pravega supercomputer, which has 3.3 petaflop peak performance. It was commissioned only last month, and it's again fastest among the academic institutions in India. So during my research career, I have used these supercomputers extensively, and I am happy to say that it has resulted in some high impact research. The second reason would be the highly flexible and interdisciplinary nature of the PhD program at DESE IISc. So my B.Tech was in electronics and communication engineering, and then I got very fascinated with quantum technologies and got my master's in nanoscience and technology. And so yeah, the PhD program at DESE IISc allows me to apply all of the skills I have acquired over the years. And so I write codes, I perform simulations on both materials and devices, and the knowledge from both the device background and materials background are currently applied into my research. Next slide, please. Can you go one more? Right. A little bit about my research. So I mostly do research on computational nanoscience and technology. It's a computational research, so where I write codes and I design pipelines, high performance computational pipelines that can use the raw power of those supercomputers and perform simulations and find excellent application specific two-dimensional materials. So some of the tools I use are density functional theory, molecular dynamics, Monte Carlo simulations, machine learning, and of course high performance computing. So this figure is one example. It's from one of my papers. This is a complex pipeline I have designed. So it can take the crystal structure of the structural information of any two-dimensional material, and it can predict their Curie temperature, the magnetic transition temperature, pretty fast. So it involves different levels of density functional theory and numerical computing and Monte Carlo simulation, as well as machine learning. So using this pipeline, we have been able to identify around 30 two-dimensional materials that can show Curie temperature greater than 400 Kelvin, which can be interesting for experimentalists for high temperature electronic and magnetic devices. Next slide, please. Okay, I'd like to tell you a little bit about our life at IISc. So we have a very vibrant community. The first slide is about sports activities. So yeah, so almost anything, any sports you can think of, you can enjoy at IISc. So the central figure actually shows our beloved Gymkhana ground. The football ground and the cricket grounds are visible, I think. There are also hockey grounds and basketball, volleyball courts, kung fu courts. There is obviously archery. We have our swimming pool. And personally, I enjoy running and badminton. So badminton is also indoor sports. We also have a fully functional gymnasium as well. Next slide, please. And we also, like I said, we have a very vibrant community here, and a lot of talented people are here. So, so culturally, I would say IISc is very enriching. We have various clubs. Rhythmika is a music club, and Ranmanch is the drama club. There is also dance clubs, and there is also cultural fests being arranged this year again, I think, after the government has lifted the restrictions. And this is one of the this picture is from the fest actually. We also regularly arrange open mic kind of events where students can showcase their talents and hone their talents. Next slide, please. So like I mentioned, almost all sports options are available here. Another very important thing is good healthcare facilities. And so yeah, during this pandemic, the in-house quarantine facilities were provided by IISc. That was of very help. That was very convenient. And you will also be covered under medical insurance. There are also various student-run clubs. I have missed probably some of them. There is an art and literature society. There are various science and robotics clubs, and so on and so forth. These clubs all come under Gymkhana. So you become a member of the Gymkhana automatically after you get your admission in IISc. So like Nikita mentioned, there are many excellent restaurants nearby serving various cuisines. This is also my personal favorite. And in the end, I can say that no matter what your interests are, you will always find like-minded people here. So I think that was all. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Arnab. Now I invite Prasobh, PhD from ECE department, to share his experiences.
So good evening, everyone. I'm Prasobh and I'm a third year PhD student in the Department of ECE. I did my B.Tech in ECE from NIT Calicut in the year 2019 and I'm a direct PhD candidate here. So next slide, please. So I wanted to work in the area of signal processing, especially for communications. So I joined the Signal and Information Processing Lab headed by Prof. Sandeep. So I primarily work on the area of SP for next generation wireless communications. So this, as you know, the 60 is all about applications such as high-speed communication, real-time VR, vehicle-to-everything communication, remote driving, etc. These applications demand high data rate as well as extreme reliability and often low latency, which makes the design challenging. So I'm currently working on addressing some of these signal processing challenges arising in these systems. Furthermore, due to the ever-increasing number of wireless devices, rapid research and deployment of next-gen wireless systems is also one of the most important research problems that currently is happening. So from the moment I stepped into the IISc campus for my PhD interview, I was actually amazed by the positive aura that this institution has. So even the interview procedure was very interesting and the panel was very friendly and very helpful. So in general, I felt that the faculties here are highly encouraging and they try their best to bring the best out of us. This being one of the primary reasons why I decided to do my PhD here. Our department offers impeccable opportunities in both academia and industry. We get to work on the state-of-the-art technologies that are highly relevant and timely. We also have a very strong, our department also has a very strong record of academic and industrial collaborations. Like we get plenty of opportunities for collaborating with the foreign universities or to do internship opportunities in leading companies, etc. So during the past 2.5 years, I got the opportunity to collaborate with some of the leading institutions in the field. These were some of the great experience I had so far, and I believe that the exposure that we get here are unmatched by any other institution in the country, and is on par with that of the leading universities abroad. So far, I've been discussing about the academic side of things. So IISc also offers stellar opportunities for the industry side as well. Like many of my friends got internship opportunities in good companies as well as placements, and the job profile is also very good. Furthermore, I'm a PhD student, so even though for PhD students also, it doesn't mean that you need to be going to the academia. You can also get very nice placements in R&D companies even after PhD. So in short, the placements are really good for both M.Techs as well as PhDs. So moving on to the other side of things. So apart from academics, IISc also provides ample opportunities for extracurricular activities. So we have very active students groups and clubs. And I think Arnab already covered all these points very beautifully. So in the interest of time, I skip these details here. So for example, we have many events, like we have the open mic event, which is a very good platform to showcase our talents, or if you're like me, to enjoy others' talents. So we have the annual day, open days there. So in short, like IISc presents sufficient opportunities for extracurriculars, which nicely complements our academic life. Finally, I always felt that the campus is very beautiful and serene. Here are a few glimpses of our campus. And by the way, the figure that you can see on the top right is a long exposure shot of fireflies. This is a common sight in the campus during late spring months like June, July and all. So I also found the weather to be really great in Bangalore. It's always cool and fresh, leading to an excellent atmosphere for both work and play. In short, I believe that joining IISc is one of the best decisions I made in my life. With that, I conclude my presentation. Thank you. Feel free to ask any questions if there are any.
Okay, so thank you, Prasobh. And now we have the last presentation. Then we'll be open for questions. So this is Ankit Kumar. He's an M.Tech student from Signal Processing. Ankit.
Hello everyone, I am Ankit. I am currently an M.Tech second year student at IISc, currently pursuing signal processing course. I did my bachelor's from Yadav University and then I worked for 2 years as an electrical engineer in the industry. At that moment, I realized that this field is pretty much saturated and I need to do something new. Well, what can be better than IISc to do the same? And hence my IISc's journey started. Next slide, please. Okay, let's talk about the academics life of IISc and what you will learn from here. For sure that in M.Tech first year, you will be going to regular schedule and you will learn how to manage time well. As per the projects which we get, those are real world based. As far as I can remember, we did a project which asked us to automate a process that if a person has been successfully able to cross or to pass a driving license track test, Now, as we all know, IISc is known for its research. You will be working with state-of-the-art approaches and to work on how to improve them further. I am myself working on machine learning algorithms, image analysis, and computer vision, and I have to identify, detect, and classify objects just from images. Next slide, please. Okay, there is a common notion among students that IISc is famous for its research, but what about placement? For sure, I can say that the placements at IISc are at par with IITs, if not better. Popular companies like Google, Microsoft come here for placements. I have myself backed an internship opportunity at Goldman Sachs and then converted it to a PPO. My fellow friends did the same with Qualcomm, Cisco, Micron Technology as well. The average CTC of this signal processing course has been till now 20 plus LPA. Next slide, please. All right. I have talked about the academics part, the placement part. What about other things which I can do to relax ourselves? We have many clubs here, as other people mentioned. My fellow colleagues mentioned that there are gym khanas, there are cricket teams, there is a club for music club, Rhythmika. There's also a club for other, like, let's say dance club is there. We have a lush, green, beautiful campus, which we can take a stroll with our friends. And as we are situated in Bangalore, we can go to nearby place for trekking as well. I have myself went to two trekking places, Kandagiri Hills, Avalabetta Hills as well. And lastly, I would like to say that if you come and graduate from IISc, you will definitely have more feathers in your cap. Thank you. That's all from us.
Okay, thank you, Ankit. Yeah, so now you heard about how a student's day-to-day life would look like at IISc next to academics. So now what we plan to do is we'll open the floor for questions. So please feed in your questions in the chat box. And then we have my colleagues here from the EECS division faculty as well as students who will answer all your queries today. So Chandra, do you want to help me out with this?
Yeah. So would you like me to read the questions out one by one?
Yeah, so some of them we are actually answering on the fly. So let's...
So we'll skip those and we'll just move on to the questions that we haven't answered yet. Should I read out the questions as I see them on the chat box?
I can do it now. So
okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, so I start with a question from Ananya Singha. So she's a fourth-year BA student from IISc Bhopal, and she's interested in applying for an integrated PhD program. But while I'm applying via the admission portal, they ask for GATE scores, and that's mandatory. Chandra, from my understanding, CFTIs with GPA of 8+, you don't need to key in your GATE score. So
I can take this
Rajesh?
question.
Yeah,
I can take this question.
Thank you, Rajesh.
Yeah, so in the event you're unable to, you're being asked to enter this, just send an email to the help, admissions help email address, and we will take it from there. In any case, I have already alerted the concerned person to rectify this if there is a requirement that you have to submit. You have to enter some marks there. But if you are from a CFTI, you're applying for the direct PhD program, and you have a CGPA of 8 or above, you're eligible to apply. Thank you.
And the list of CFTIs are available on IISc's webpage. So regarding ERP programs, you will have to reach out to faculty in the area of your interest before applying, before submitting your application. That's already answered. Yeah, so students with ECE GATE are eligible to apply for M.Tech ECE AI and signal processing. Okay.
As well as VLSI.
And also VLSI. So where can I get the cutoffs for joining different departments in IISc? Chandra, Rajesh.
So I can take this question. So the cutoffs actually vary from year to year. What we try to do is we try to, based on the applications that we receive and also our capacity to do the interviews, some of them actually have interviews. We set a threshold and we invite between 2 to 3 times what we are planning to admit, that many number of candidates. So if you ask for a cutoff for this particular year, we will not be able to tell. But what we suggest is that you do your very best in the GATE examination. It's already done, and you apply. No matter what, we encourage you to apply, and that's the best way to get a chance to be called in for the interviews. Thank you.
So the next question is related to M.Tech AI program. The portal says that student applying should have done a formal course in C++. To what extent should one learn C++? Chandrasekhar?
Yeah, I think proficiency in C, C++ would definitely be of great help. We are really hoping that you have at least have done at least one programming course in your undergraduate. Okay. Otherwise, do brush up your programming skills. It's not a must, but I mean, you cannot do any AI without proficiency in programming.
Okay. So next we move on to Debabrat's question. You're a final year M.Tech student from IIIT Guwahati, and you wish to pursue PhD in EC, especially in the domain of networks, communication, and signal processing areas. How should I prepare for the interview? Any guidance, or what professor actually
expects?
Okay. Yeah, except from a student, if you can guide, will be great help for me. So I'll ask one of the students to answer, maybe from EC. Prasobh is here. So to answer,
Yes,
how
sir,
do you
yes,
prepare
sir,
for
I
the
will take.
interview, and then other faculty members can pitch in.
Sir, I'm audible, right?
Yes.
So here I think the procedure how it goes is like this. Like first you will be shortlisted based on GATE score or like whatever criteria it is there, and after that there will be an initial screening. And for the initial screening, there will be a choice of 6 subjects, and I don't recollect all of them, but it was like one was matrix theory, other was like Fourier transforms, Laplace transforms, those things. Then there was a differential calculus, then probability, then I think combinatorics, and there was one more. So you'll be given an option to choose 2 out of these 6 topics and then go for the written exam. So the questions in written exam will be mostly basic things, and for the interview it will be like an extension of the written exam. Like you'll be asked more about these topics. So in general, they don't want to test the memory skills. It's more about like how to think at that time, how do you approach the problem and things like that. It's not just the final solution that matters, but the approach as well. So what professor actually expect from a student, that actually depends on each professor. So I can't say much about that, but yeah, so anyway, like, yeah, it will be fine.
So along those lines, maybe that was EC's perspective. I guess there are other questions related to CSA. Maybe Nikita, if you're around, if you want to also share your thoughts about how the interview goes at CSA.
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. So the interview process contains one written test and followed by interviews. So for the written test, I think the syllabus is only GATE subjects. All of the subjects, the questions can be from any subject, and the question are usually the same type of question as you get in GATE. And then if that is the initial stage of screening, and then after that, if you're chosen, then you will go through the interview rounds. In the interview round, you have the option to choose 2 or 3 subjects. One course, one of the subject, you will be definitely tested on data structures and algorithms. Along with, you can tell other courses. For example, if you are in systems, if you are giving your interview for computer systems, then you can choose subjects like operating system, computer architecture, networks, distributed systems, and the questions will be asked only from these courses. The expectation is that you have, if you're applying for PhD, the expectation is that you are familiar or you have the knowledge of these courses at an advanced level, as what is taught in CSA. Thank you.
Thank you. Arnab, about DESE?
Yes, so there is not much I can add. The process is similar to the other departments. There is no written test here. So after the initial shortlist, there will be a direct interview by the faculties, a panel of faculties. So they start with the basic questions. So once you can answer the basic questions clearly, then only can they move to the advanced topics. So my suggestion would be first you clear your basics. And like Prasobh said, that they actually see the approach. You won't always get to the correct answer, but the approach matters a lot. So that's something the professors are look for.
Thank you. Chandra, you want to add something more?
No, but yeah, I think every department's website does have information about the interview process for that department. It's useful to go through that website. For example, in the ECE department, the interview process focuses quite heavily on basic mathematics. Other departments may have different variations on this, but it should all be listed on the website in terms of what is expected. Now, after you join the master's or PhD program, what is expected? That also depends a lot on the field in which you are going to pursue your master's or PhD. There is no written requirement in terms of, okay, you need X number of publications or Y number of patents or Z number of products that you come out with in order to get your master's research or PhD degree. It just has to be adequate work, which can mean different things in different areas of research. So one cannot give a universal answer to that, but maybe one rule of thumb is that the quantum of work and research outcomes must be on par with the best university in the world. In other words, if you did the same work in the topmost university in the world, you should qualify for getting a PhD there also. And that is maybe the criterion that we also use to award PhD degrees or masters by research degrees. Yeah, that's it, Sandeep.
Okay. So related to project staff positions, it's outside the purview of this meet, but you can always visit faculty web pages. On that note, people who are interested in applying for PhD, so I do encourage them to visit the faculty web pages to know more about what they work on and what, in case you get an admit, what topics you will work on. So you will already get some idea. So do visit faculty web pages, department web pages. That will also give you some idea on how to apply, how to select preferences when you're applying for different departments or programs.
Sandeep, maybe just to add to this, a project staff position, one of the things is, as far as I know, in IISc, you cannot directly convert a project staff position into a degree program. You have to still apply for the degree program and get through the application process in order to enroll on a degree granting program. So the two are actually independent of each other here at IISc.
Okay. So this is more related to admin. So how can Nepali students join IISc, Rajesh?
Yes, I can answer this question. If you go to the website, it will say international students apply here. Go to the applications, IISc application portal, and you'll see clearly some indication about international students and how you can apply. So go to that website and that gives you the instructions, and applications from abroad are most welcome. Thank you.
Okay. So is M.Tech research intake also via GATE? Yes. So M.Tech research intake is only via GATE. For CFTI, whatever we mentioned earlier, CFTI, centrally funded technical institutes with 8+ GPA, you can only get into PhD programs. For M.Tech research, you will have to apply via GATE scores. Okay, I have done my B.Tech in EE and preparing for GATE CSE. Along with GATE syllabus and CSE, what else can I work during the preparation time for better interdisciplinary research career, as I didn't have 4 years exposure in CSE, but EE? Chiranjib, would you like to answer this if you're around?
Sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Okay, I'm gonna read that again. So Sayan Chakraborty is completed his B.Tech in electrical engineering, but he wants to pursue, I guess, M.Tech in CSE, computer science, as further research. Yeah, he wants to do research in computer science. So he's preparing for GATE CSE, and in the meantime, does he need to prepare on other things to get more exposure to what happens in computer science?
Great question. Of course, you should do as many things as you can. So I would say, Susan, 3 things. Try to do more programming, especially in Python, C, C++. Brush up your mathematics. And third, be curious about various problems, engineering problems, where you think CS related streams can help. Yeah, that's all I had to say.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so related to GATE score rank, this varies, as Professor Rajesh mentioned, it varies from year to year. So give it your best shot. I guess you already completed GATE. So in that case, simply apply. Go ahead and apply. It doesn't matter AIE, the answer is the same for all the programs. Okay, so is a written test also conducted for M.Tech research? How many rounds of interviews are conducted and during which month? Chandra?
So again, this M.Tech research admissions in different departments are different. And in fact, this may even vary from year to year. But I wouldn't worry too much about the written test per se. Typically, the written test is just used to do a little initial filtering of candidates. By and large, a majority of the students who take the written test are actually called in for the interview. But there's only one round of interview, not multiple rounds. So in all of the departments, as far as I know, for the M.Tech research program, there's only one round of interview. Of course, if you apply to multiple departments in the M.Tech research program, and if you get called for the research interviews in multiple departments, you will have to go through one interview for each department.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So where can you find syllabus? As Chandra already mentioned, each of the 4 departments organizing this program today, if you go visit their webpage under admissions, you will find the type of what you need to prepare for the interview, the syllabus, and will it be written as well as an interview. So all these things you will find on the webpage. So again, we encourage you to go take a look at the department webpage for more details, including AI, etc. So aerospace mechanical, unfortunately, we cannot answer that in the department. Maybe Rajesh, if you can spend a minute on this. He's currently pursuing B.Tech mechanical and he wants to pursue M.Tech aerospace. Which part of mech should I focus more to get exposure in aerospace?
So aerospace is a very broad area. So there is the computational side, and then there is also the experimental side. You're from the mechanical engineering area. So the computational side seems like a very natural way to enter into aerospace. So I would suggest maybe start with that. But if you want to do aerospace, you would have a passion you would want to address certain questions, you are naturally curious about certain topics, just go learn about them and then talk to people, write to people at IISc, faculty members here, say that you're interested in this topic, and then get more exposure and then accordingly apply. That's my suggestion. Thank you.
So Preetham has 1 year industrial experience. Can I apply for M.Tech AI without GATE? No, industry experience is good, welcome, but the current mode of entry for M.Tech programs is only via GATE. We also have another program which we call as M.Tech online program for working professionals. So in case you would like to pursue that, that is an option. So that's a different entry mode. But for regular M.Tech programs, the ones that we discussed today, GATE is required. Do both the integrated PhD and direct PhD do not require GATE score, and a GPA above 8 is enough? So if you're only from centrally funded technical institutes like IITs, NITs, IISers, and many other institutes, the list is available on the webpage, IISc webpage. So only for those, for PhD admissions, direct PhD admissions. So if you've completed your B.Tech from one of these CFTIs with a GPA of 8 and above, you don't require GATE. So if you have a B.Tech, you want to get into a direct PhD from any other institutes outside CFTI, you require GATE. Do we also need a resume while applying for M.Tech interview? Also, does having research papers help in the interview? I'm currently in my 3rd year of ECE. Chandra?
Maybe Chandra EE can answer.
Yeah, Chandra EE.
So, sorry, Sandeep.
Okay, so it's related to M.Tech application and interview procedure. So does she? She has a research. She has research papers, and does that help in the interview? And she's currently in her 3rd year of ECE B.Tech program, I guess.
Yeah. Research papers are great, but most of the technical interview will focus on your foundational courses in the area. So the technical interview will be largely focused on the foundational courses. I mean, if you have research papers, you could definitely share it with the committee at the time of interview, but no weightage is given for research papers.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So direct PhD versus normal PhD. Chandra, you want to continue? Chandrasekhar.
Sorry. So direct PhD versus normal PhD, is that the question?
Mm-hmm.
Direct PhD after bachelor's?
Yes, I guess that's what Rohit means.
Yeah. So direct PhD students have a different coursework requirement in terms of the number of credits, whereas students who come with a master's degree, because they would already done some courses during the master's, so they have a different coursework requirement. Direct PhD students will spend a good 1.5 years doing their courses. Okay. And if you meet the eligibility criteria for direct PhD, which is in terms of the CGPA, you could definitely apply.
May I add? This is Rajesh here.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So actually, I did a direct PhD, and many others that I know went for a master's followed by a PhD. Direct PhD is basically from a B.Tech directly to a PhD. Now, if you know for sure that you're going to pursue a research career and you know the specific area in which you want to specialize in, then the direct PhD is for you. It will you will possibly save 1 year, because a typical master's is around 2 years, and then you follow it up with a PhD, which is between 4 and 5 years. If you do a direct PhD, you get done in 5 years. So you might save between 1 and 2 years. So if you're sure about the area and you're keen on a research career and you want to get going right away, then the direct PhD is for you. Thank you.
So the next question is for M.Tech course program in DESE and microelectronics and VLSI. In the information brochure, it is given that 30% weightage is for CAM, whereas in the presentation given by DESE in this session showing interview, which one should we consider? Shantanu or Umanand?
Yeah, Umanand here. You're able to hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. See, it is 70% gate plus 30% interview. That is the right one. The one which is there on the website, the report, that has to be updated. That has not yet been updated, but it has been updated in several other places where you go to the individual M.Tech programs in the institute. There you will see that it is correctly written as 70% gate plus 30% interview. So that's what you have to take it as final, that gate 70% and interview.
Thank you. So does age of a candidate makes an impact during PhD interviews, Rajesh? Is there an age limit for PhD admissions?
No, I think we welcome all candidates. Learning can happen at any time. So please go ahead and attend the interviews if you're invited. Thank you.
So after completing MS in IITs, can a student apply for PhD without a GATE score? Rajesh again.
Your question was not clear. Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, so Vamsi has an M.Tech from IIT, one of the IITs, and he wants to apply for a PhD. So should he apply via a GATE score, or can he directly apply without a GATE score?
Okay, so in Vamsi's case, because Vamsi already has an M.Tech from IIT, Vamsi would be M.Tech qualified. So Vamsi can directly apply to the PhD under the M.Tech qualified category. Vamsi will also be asked to enter possibly GATE scores, but the GATE may not be valid at this time. If the GATE is valid, Vamsi can enter the GATE score as well. And Vamsi should choose which one of the two options. In any case, the application team will also take a look at which is most appropriate for Vamsi. Thank you.
And M.Tech only from IITs, or does your answer hold for any M.Tech?
My answer holds for any M.Tech. So a person who has M.Tech is considered to be M.Tech qualified and can therefore apply to the PhD program. There are some minimum requirements on what is the percentage, etc. So long as that minimum eligibility criterion is satisfied, you will come under the M.Tech qualified category. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. So related to postdocs, again, there are several postdoctoral fellowships. Please do look at IISc's webpage and also reach out to faculty members if they want to host you for a postdoc. Depending on the area of your interest, they might have openings in that group, or they might be willing to host you via institute fellowships. So that's about postdocs. Okay, so this is again related to CFTI, but it's a long question. I'll read it. So Divyanshu Singh, I'm not from a centrally funded university and also not qualified GATE in 2 attempts, but I have 4 research works which are not published, but my projects are based on human-to-human interface. So the question is, okay, how do you get into IISc?
Maybe I can take this question. This is Rajesh here. So in your case, you have to be able to, because of the performance in the examinations, you have to get around that by signing up for GATE and doing well in GATE. Thank you.
Okay, so students from M.Tech, ECE, or signal processing, if they want to shift from ECE to CSE or ML data science for PhD, can they do? Yeah, so it's about upgrade option for M.Tech students, Rajesh. This is across departments.
Okay, so if students from M.Tech, ECE, signal processing want to shift to an ECE or a CSE ML.
Or data science PhD programs.
Yes. So yes, I think I presume that you are doing your masters, you will complete your masters and then subsequently enroll for a PhD. Yes, it is certainly possible to do that. And you should reapply after you complete your masters, or just before you complete your masters. That March, you should apply for the PhD program. And you can apply in any one of the departments. You know the qualifying criteria will be given, and you'll if you meet that eligibility criteria, you'll be M.Tech qualified, for example, and therefore you will be called in for a possible interview, and then you should do well in the interview.
So what is the process of PhD admission for high voltage engineering, SEKHAR? Is there any written test for the admission? So again, please look into the department web page. Each program will have a different process of admitting students. But in this particular case, SEKHAR, do you have any further information that you can?
Yeah, I have responded privately to the student.
Okay.
Yeah, there is no written test. It's based on gate and technical interview.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So where can we find the organization list which have signed for MOA? Okay, so this is Rajesh. This is about M.Tech online program, M.Tech AI in particular.
Okay.
And
I can answer that question.
Yeah, Preetham is looking for a list of companies that have signed the memorandum of understanding.
Okay, so you can write to office.icon@iisc.ac.in, and then they will supply you with the information on all the companies which have signed a memorandum of agreement. Typically, if your company has signed a memorandum of agreement, you would know. But chances are, since you're asking this question, chances are your company has not signed. Just write to office.icon@iisc.ac.in, or just search for M.Tech online and you will be put to this, and you can send your query there. I'll anyway type it on the chat, the email address. Now, if your company has not yet signed a memorandum of agreement, what you should do is get your company organization to give an expression of interest. Then there is a group of faculty members that look at the expression of interest, and then they will approve or give their recommendation. And then once that is done, there is a negotiation that happens between IISc and your organization, where this memorandum of agreement has to be signed. You will be able to apply to the program only after this MOA has been signed. Now, for the M.Tech online program, things will close by the 22nd, and it's very difficult to get all of these things put in place within the 3-week time frame that we have now. But in any case, get started and let's try our best. Write to office.icon@iisc.ac.in.
Yeah. So an interesting question here from Mohit. He is working in a company and he has to serve a notice period for a certain duration. So in case he gets admission to one of the PhD programs and he cannot join on time, will he get an extension?
Pardon me, please repeat the question, because I was typing the email address. So
okay,
please go ahead.
So Mohit, in this case, so he is working for a company and he has to serve a notice period. Okay. And I guess that will go beyond IISc's joining date. So in case he gets selected for a PhD program, will he get an extension in his to his joining date?
Okay, it will be very difficult. You should have completed all the formalities by the time of the joining. In fact, if you're in a company, you may be bound by certain constraints or certain requirements that the company places, and you'll have to get a relieving letter to be able to join the institute. So we start on August 1st. And if you can finish all the formalities and get your relieving letter that you can produce to IISc at the time of joining, which is August 1st, then you will be able to join. So start now. Of course, some companies are quite kind. Once you have your offer, you'll have your offer sometime in June or thereabouts. Once you have your offer, some companies are kind and they might waive this requirement. So start on the negotiation with your company right away. Thank you.
Thank you. So how does year gap after B.Tech affect for research career at IISc if one gets interest in AI, meanwhile wants to pursue the career? So yeah, you don't lose much if you're, as long as you get an admit, you don't have to worry anything about that. So prepare well for the interviews and do well in the interviews. So, okay, I'm pursuing EC dual degree in triple IT DM Kanchipuram with specialization in signal processing and communication system design. How to apply for PhD in communication? It's the same procedure. If you have an so after M.Tech, you don't need GATE. Without M.Tech, if you quit your dual degree program, exit before you get an M.Tech, after your B.Tech, you will need GATE. So after M.Tech, you will have to just fill in the application, participate in the interview. Communication, it's only EC that does, EC department that does signal processing and communication. So make sure that you select that in the preference list. Okay, so I guess I've gone through, except one question. So biosensors at a PhD level, which department should I be looking to apply? Shantanu?
Yeah, once again, could you please repeat?
Yeah, so Prithvi wishes to work on biosensors for PhD.
Okay, I mean, there are multiple choices, but in our department, he can contact Professor Hardik Pandya. So if you say EECS, I guess that is the only option. Otherwise, he has to go to other departments, other division. There is one interdisciplinary department, DESE. He can go there. Okay, but in EECS, I guess only option is our department and Professor Hardik Pandya.
Okay, thank you. Okay, yeah. So how does online programs differ as compared to regular programs for computer science department? Chiranjib?
Yeah, okay, so see, CS department doesn't have any specific online program. We participate, of course, in this M.Tech AI online program. So I can make generic comments that M.Tech, I'm assuming that you're talking about this M.Tech AI program, sorry, M.Tech online program, right? So
M.Tech online versus M.Tech regular.
Right. So there is some, so the objective is that they should be at par. The course structure is at par. However, the specific choices of courses would be, are different because some courses are offered online and for online students, and some courses are offered for in-person things. Also, the admission criteria is dependent on, an officer I can kind of thing will tell you better the admission criteria. So these are two differences. Just to repeat that CSE does not have any specialized online M.Tech program as of now.
Mm-hmm. And there's also one more question related to AI. So B.Tech final year student in engineering physics, how can he apply for M.Tech AI? Chandrasekhar?
Yeah, we appreciate your interest, but unfortunately the qualifying papers for M.Tech AI are GATE, EC, EE, and CS.
Okay. So this is related to the application procedure. There are three options that one has to select. what if one gets into 2 departments, but one does not get his or her choice of the advisor in the preferred department? Will she or he able to switch the department later? Shantanu?
It is a difficult, I mean, once you are admitted, and then, I mean, then there could be a provision, but it is slightly complicated. You have to find first your present supervisor should agree to leave, and second is that you have to find another supervisor from that third department who agree to accept you. Okay, then it has to be approved by dean. So technically it is possible, but it is a complicated procedure.
If I may add to that, so before the offer is made, during the interview procedures, if you're interviewing with 2 different departments, during the interview procedure, you are allowed to change your preference. So that is possible, but once you get an offer, as Professor Shantanu mentioned, the procedure is a bit complicated. So after interviews for M.Tech, will we be given the results immediately? How will the offer be visible in co-op? Vinoy, if you're around. I cannot hear you, Vinoy. You need to speak a bit louder.
Can you please repeat?
Yeah, so this is related to M.Tech. So when will the M.Tech results be announced? And how will the offer be visible in COAP?
Oh, I think there is a COAP has a schedule with which they will announce their all these things, and it will go directly through COAP. So there is nothing separate here, special about IISc in that COAP schedules.
So the results will be visible in the portal, and there is a timeline for that. And
there
the
is
results
a
will not be out
it's
immediately.
like, I think once a week or something like that, they have different rounds.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what is the syllabus for written test for M.Tech CSA coursework program? Is it the same as CS syllabus for GATE? Will there be a programming round? Nikita, if you are around.
Yeah, hello, sir. My knowledge on this may not be correct.
Okay.
I'm not.
So let me
Chiranjib.
take this question. Yeah. So Nikita did not take this test, so she will not know. So he introduced a programming test from last year. So there would be a programming round, if you say. That's only one test. And it is same as, and you can say same as GATE syllabus. So I will also tell you the reason why we did this from last year. See, what we are finding is students are, because of this lot of research exposure, are neglecting their coding skills and also not coming or not taking attention while preparing for GATE, etc. Right now, so that is why our advice is, kindly do more coding as well. End of the day, you are also engineers. Don't forget that. I'm sorry I gave you a little advice also uncalled for, but I think he answers the question.
So we have about 4 more minutes left before we wind up today's program. So I'll take 1 or 2 more questions, and then I'll ask our dean to give his concluding remarks and final advices that he might have. So will the interview procedure be the same for M.Tech research and direct PhD? Can we select between them? Chandra, Murthy?
Yes, it's a common interview procedure. And if you applied for the M.Tech research program, but after the interview, you find that you prefer to apply for the PhD program, this is possible. And the other way is also possible. You can change your preferences after the interview. The process is common.
Okay, and this is common across all the departments?
That I am not sure.
Rajesh?
Sandeep, Vinoy here.
Mm-hmm.
So I suppose the students do not have, candidates do not have a selection when they are applying, but they can tell this to the interview committee, and the interview committee takes a decision on it, and that is the process in the institute.
Okay. So the student can only select for research program?
Research program, that's it, yes.
Okay. Okay, so this is more, okay. So Chiranjib, a question for you. I have seen professors like Chiranjib joined IISc after a PhD from IISc. Is PhD ERP considered equivalent later? My belief is no, but please clarify.
I'm sorry, what is the, maybe can we ask Mohit to unmute and
yes, please
answer the question, Mohit?
Mohit, if you're still around, please unmute yourself and
because it's not clear. I mean,
yeah. I think Mohit Agarwal, I have to ask you to unmute. I'll do that.
Hello.
Yes, Mohit.
Yes, sir. So
yeah.
I have already applied to IISc. So I currently am working in an organization. So I saw a Professor Chiru. I have so I have read up his papers for a lot, like quite.
Thank you.
Quite a few for quite a few amount of time. But actually, ERP is like a collaboration between organization and doing research with some supervisor. But I saw Professor Chiru completed his PhD from IISc, then went to UC Berkeley and came back. So he joined as a professor. What if someone completes his PhD from IISc as an ERP and then applies as a faculty at IISc? Like, are they considered equal, like at a later point of time?
Oh, I see. Now I get the question. So, so see, our faculty selection process is completely different. So once you have a PhD, it would be considered equivalent. No discrimination would be done based on your degree. Does it answer your question?
Yes, Prof. So ultimately, the publication and all those things.
Absolutely. Ultimately, your quality research is what we are going to, or IISc is going to look at, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
If I may add.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so we do have faculty members who actually did a PhD through ERP programs here itself.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So can someone from B.Tech ECE apply for M.Tech CSC via GATE? Yes. If you have the qualifying GATE score from M.Tech GATE CS, then you can apply for M.Tech CSC. Right? So it doesn't matter in B.Tech ECE, you need to have the required GATE score to apply for the respective program. So some programs take EECE, some take only CS, and so on. So that criteria is available in the admissions webpage of IISc. So I again encourage you and welcome all to look at that before submitting your application. So on the web page, it says equivalent degree is CSIT. I might be, Chiru, you'll have to correct me if I said something wrong.
So, okay, so let me also check this. Our sense is this equivalent is a broad brush, but so please send me a email and I will get back to you.
Okay.
My email, I'll type the email address. Chiru at isc.ac.in. Please send me an email and I will try to clarify that.
Okay, so yeah, we are at 7:30, right on time, and I see that we don't have any more questions. So I thank you all, my colleagues, faculty and students for helping us out in answering all the queries. Now I would ask Professor Rajesh to make some concluding remarks and if he has some final words to say about this event. And by the way, before that, we also have one more event, very similar in nature on 18th March. So Rajesh, with that, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so first of all, thanks to all the volunteers and the faculty members who came here to answer all these questions. And thanks very much to all the potential students for your interest. We hope the session was informative. We hope you will apply if you have not already applied. Please go check out the web pages, see what is of interest to you, find a good program and apply. We will have another similar session as was indicated on the 18th of March. If you have questions, please save them. You can ask us those questions on that date. Thank you very much for joining us today.
And thank you. Nice evening to all of you. And with that, we will conclude this event.